All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Monster Talks. Today, I'm really excited because we're going to be talking Airbnb. And today's guest is Janette Saucedo. So, Janette, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm glad. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me here.
So, I wanted to just start diving right in to the Airbnb stuff. So, tell us a little bit of Airbnb. How long have you been doing Airbnb? And what do you see most exciting about that?
So Airbnb, I started because of my father. He told me about it. I had bought my house and he's like, your house is too big for you. And he's like, how about you look into just trying to rent a room for Airbnb? Mm-hmm. At that moment, my financial status it wasn't great because I had just gone through a divorce. Mm-hmm. So my father was like, just try it out, try Airbnb. And I thought about it, so I didn't put too much input. And when Dad passed away, 3 months later, I started looking into it. So it was very interesting to me because I'm like, now I was thinking why he told me that. Yeah. And it was interesting because I was able to pay my mortgage. I started looking into it, like what can I do? What can I, just to pay my mortgage because I had no option at that moment. Okay, well, how I was going to school, I was didn't pass my MBCOT, and it was very difficult for me to come with that payment because of that lack of income that I had at that moment. So for me, it was important to just know a little bit more about it, and I started doing research. I started looking into it, and I moved out of my house. I listed the house on Airbnb, and it was successful. At the first booking, I started getting inquiries, and I was just super happy because I was able to have income to pay my mortgage, and I didn't lose my house because of it. So for me, it's been a very interesting road and successful and also happy journey because I get to do something that I enjoy and I love. So it's been now I see that it's not only for myself, but it could also benefit others. And I love talking about Airbnb because there's a lot of people that go through a situation like myself and sometimes don't speak about it because they're either ashamed or scared because of the situation that they're going through. And for me, I'm not the only one that goes through it, so I would love to share my experience. So that is something that does work. And it's something that helps, and anyone could do it.
And so a lot of the stuff how you got it started was just self-taught. You were just doing research.
Yes,
YouTube,
self-taught.
Or what?
I was not so much YouTube at the moment. At the moment, it was just more through the app, reading a lot of the resources that they had. Yeah. I would just go on the platform itself, and I would just look information. And then I started going through YouTube. A lot of people started uploading their experiences, and as I went through I learned a lot through the experience. So self-taught.
And so when you got the first property listed, how long did it take to get that first hit?
It was the first property of myself.
Yourself, yeah.
Within
to get a renter, yeah, the first time.
Probably like 2 days.
Really?
Yes, it was really fast. It was really fast. It all depends also on your profile. It's the house, it does have to do a lot, but also your profile. There's different ways, the way Airbnb rates, your respond rates, the way you clean, the way you, just different things, that amenities, what you have in the house, the property, the pictures have to do a lot with it as well. And it helps out, a lot of that helps when you're uploading the house. And as soon as I uploaded the house, I started getting inquiries within the 2 days. So it just started flowing. And
so you left all your furniture there, or how did that work? Because I know that a lot of them come furnished, right? So how did you navigate that?
With my house, I left everything. I left everything as how I had to detach a little bit. It was a very emotional part of, in that moment, it was very emotional, but I knew I had to do in order for me to pay my house. So I left everything there, my beds, my personal items. I just locked my closets. I locked it. I switched the bolts, and I left some of my stuff there, but a lot of them I put also in the garage. I closed the garage, and I rented the whole house for, I want to say, 2 months. Then after the 2 months, I was able to save money. I was able to put it aside. And during that time, I was cleaning my sister's house. Again, I was going through the process throughout school. I was studying to do my MBCOT. I couldn't pass it. It was, but at the moment, it was $600 every time. So that also helped for me to pay for my next test. So then after I was able to pay for my test, I started putting a little bit money on the side, and I started cleaning my sister's house. So she was very interested about Airbnb, but she just asked me, she's like, what do you think if I get a new house? I was like, go for it. Go get a new house.
Yeah.
If you want a new house, that house was supposed to be my father's. So she was very emotional about it. And I was like, it's okay. I'll clean your house. I'll clean your house. I'll help you, and I'll rent your house. And she's like, what do you mean you're going to rent my house? You're struggling with passing your test and everything. And I had put some money aside, and I was like, let's do a yearly contract, and I'll list. I felt confident because of what was happening at my house. So I had that a little extra cash. We did a 1-year contract, and we were able to list her home at Airbnb, and it was really successful. Then from there, I just started growing, and it was very rewarding because of just how it happened.
How did you get the idea to like do the year contract and stuff like that? Were you researching like what people
Yes.
do? Okay.
Yes, it was on. That's when I started doing more research on YouTube. They started renting the properties instead of owning them or going and buying a house.
Yeah.
They would rent them, do the 1-year lease, and that's where I got the idea from
So
YouTube.
she left her existing home and bought another home and started renting this one?
Yes, to me.
Oh, okay, to you. And then you just turned around and flipped it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a contract, so I could sublease it. It was a sublease, so that way I can just put it on Airbnb.
Awesome. And how successful, how quick was that one able to get up and going? And
That one was the same. It was very, very fast.
Really?
Yes, I already had the existing profile, so that also helped. It
Yeah.
was it helped with my profile, my ratings, and as soon as I uploaded the house, it was very successful. I started getting bookings, so it was really good.
wow. And how have you seen now? I mean, you've been doing it since 2019, right?
Yes.
And how was that whole experience? Has it been like, because I know there's like months that it's really busy, and then there's months. How have you navigated? Because you went through one of the hardest times, like COVID.
Honestly, COVID was really one of the best things that happened, because even though everything was, it fluctuated because everyone started getting scared. I had bookings before COVID. When COVID hit, everyone started canceling. They started getting scared because traveling. However, a lot of the policies helped me with the refunds, for example, with the cancellation. So I was still able to get some money. And COVID, when it happened, I was able to, with the stimulus, I was able to, in that moment, I was able to pay the mortgages. And it didn't really affect me as much. It was actually a learning experience for me to manage my money. It was more like managing money, not being too excited when I got a booking and just spending my money right away. It helped me as a person to grow and to really understand it wasn't just Airbnb of money. It was more growing as a person, as seeing more like this is a business. I can actually do something. And that's when I would see that fluctuate. There was a month that I was making really good, and there was another month that I wasn't making so good.
So it kind of evens out.
Yes, it evens out. So I just had to make myself a plan and be like, okay, what plan do I have from this? I have a year contract, and in this X amount of time, I have to make this money to pay my mortgage and bills. So I started, then from there, you have your mortgage, you have bills, and you divide them by 30 days per se. Then you divide them by 30 days, and then that's how the lowest you can have a day for your house. And for me, it was all about numbers. And just, again, the money that I had a little bit extra, just putting it aside. So when the next month wasn't so successful, I had that income there. And that's how it worked. When there was, it was.
And how did the second house get furnished?
The second house. So when I started the second home, I started getting little, very simple things, very simple, a lot of yard sales. A lot of people started giving me just
So
bed
you
frames.
had to furnish that house?
Yes,
the second house.
every
Okay.
house has to, you have to furnish every home.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of support from friends and family.
And how about photos and everything? You do everything yourself?
Yes, I
Cool.
used
So
my camera.
You've learned a lot in the process?
Yes.
You never took photos before that?
I did have a camera, and I would play with it, but it wasn't professional pictures or anything. It was just really from my phone and just editing some pictures here and there, but it wasn't that I had experience being a photographer or anything.
So what are you doing these days as far as like Airbnb? Do you got multiple properties? Are you still growing that? And do you look to continue to grow your portfolio or?
Yes, I have 5 of my own, and I manage 2 properties. I do tend to grow, but at the moment I'm good with my 5, just because I had to build a strong cleaning team. I did have to
Is that a problem in Airbnb?
Yes, it can be.
Because you got to be cleaning up
Yes, you
every
have to
time
be
somebody
cleaning.
leaves, right?
Yes, you have a lot of check-in, check-outs, and let's say you're working. At the
Yeah.
time, I was already working, and it was really hard to manage my time with check-in, check-outs, and you don't want to lose a check-in, so you have to leave right away. But at the same time, you're learning, and you can't really just depend on someone to do it for you at that moment, because you don't really know what to expect either. So you have to really get in there unless someone's guiding you. But at that moment, no one was really guiding me.
So you have to start a cleaning business?
At the moment, I was my cleaning business.
Oh,
My cleaning.
So you would go
yes,
do all your houses?
Yes, I would do my houses, and then I would have, with the time, then I started building my team. And from there, I started growing the cleaning, and yes, until there was a cleaning team, and now they're able to take care of the homes. They're able to clean everything, but
you have to start on your own first.
Yes, I did. I started on my own. So let's say someone they have a home, correct? And they don't want to do the cleaning. So I can manage their property and take care of that. And since there's a cleaning crew now for Airbnb, and there's a system that it works and it's efficient and it's fast. And now I could provide that for other people that want to start Airbnb, don't know about Airbnb.
You can do the management services?
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. And how long does it take for somebody to clean a home?
Depends on the house, but let's say there's a 3-bedroom, 2 baths, it could take 3 hours, max 4 hours. At the beginning, you will take a little longer, but usually you could do it between 2.5 to 3 hours if you have a system that works for you. And also depending if they leave it either very dirty or not, you have that 4-hour gap that Airbnb recommends for you to have from checkout to check-in. So it does give you enough time within 4 hours.
Now you're saying you have 5 of your own and you rent. What's the difference of your own and renting? What's that difference?
I'm sorry.
You said when I asked you how many properties are you managing now, you said 5 of my own and I'm renting 2.
I'm managing 2 and 5 I have, for example, I rent them out and I put them on the platform. I sublease them, and the other 2 that I manage are people that...
Just rentals off of Airbnb?
Rentals that... people that want to start Airbnb and they don't know about Airbnb.
You're
and then
managing the rental for them?
Yes. And it's on the platform, so I just manage it for them.
So 7 properties, how's that like?
It was overwhelming at the beginning, but once I was able to get a strong team, there was a lot of people that helped me out throughout this journey. It's been ups and downs, like everything, but I've had a lot of people that support me throughout the process. So it's been good. It's been good. Now I have a system that works, and again, I have the cleaning part is one of the difficult areas because that's where you get your ratings. That's where you make sure that everything's clean. You just have all your towels, all your cleaning supplies, and everything. So once that's established, it's really easy for you to just get in and out. So all I really have to do now is just manage the app.
One of the biggest concerns of people is, will my home get trashed? How do you manage that?
So when you come into Airbnb, realistically, you have to have an open mind about that it will get trashed. You have to be open-minded, that anything you put, any furniture, any items that you leave in your home, you have to be open-minded that it will get messed up. So throughout this whole 3 years, I want to say it's been 5 bad experiences. Those experiences do make you grow as a person, because you understand like the value of things don't really matter. But also Airbnb has a great insurance. They have up to $1 million insurance.
Okay.
That also helps with that. It makes it more at ease when you see something either damaged.
Yeah.
Because let's say they come and they trash your home, for example, and they break some stuff, you can do a claim with Airbnb, and Airbnb will send that claim to them. They have a certain time to respond. If they don't respond, Airbnb will take care of it, and they will refund you for any damages. So that makes it at ease, because you know that it's going to be taken care of.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the biggest things when I talk to people about Airbnb. They're like, no, they're going to trash my house, you know?
Right.
And I think you have to have that attitude, right?
You do,
Like,
yes, you definitely do.
What is the percentage of people that are from out of town as opposed to people from in town that are renting?
That come into town?
From overall renters, like how many of them are from El Paso and how many of them are not
From El Paso, I want to say less than 10% maybe.
Really?
Yes, a lot of people from out of town, from all over.
Is the location important?
It varies, but for example, there's a lot of people do ask if it's close to the airport or how far it's from the malls or from the bridges. So, but the great thing about El Paso, it's not so big that everything is within 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So people are very happy when you tell them 20 to 30 minutes to a location.
Really? Okay.
So it's not like it's an hour and a half.
What are you seeing? A lot of influx, like military, or is it people on business, people visiting?
People in business, a lot of construction, a lot of military. You have people from all over. Yes, I was very surprised to see the variety of people that come to El Paso, even just to go to the mountains and hike.
Wow.
It really, so again, there's a little bit of everything, but you do get a lot of construction workers that come, and I love those stays because they're long stays, and it really helps when you have those long stays and your house is just...
What's the average stay? What's the average rental?
Maybe 3 to 4 days. The average is, it's 2 to 3 or sometimes 3 to 4. Yes, that's your average that you have. You do have your one night, but you also can modify your platform to your schedule. That's the great thing about Airbnb, is that you can manage to your time. It's not really, this is the platform, you modify it to something that helps you if you have work or if you're going out of town and let's say you can't manage it, you could block certain dates. So that way you can have that flexibility to be there and not miss those dates. You get a booking, so you don't have to cancel. So
that's good. And once you get to like 7 properties and you're doing all this, are you starting to create entities? Because I know you said I'm not an entrepreneur, but it sounds like you're doing the cleaning business, you're doing this. I know you're involved with other stuff, like you're helping your family with their business as well. So are you just doing this all on your own, or you're starting to consult with people about business, or how do you do that?
Of my own, as in, I'm sorry.
Like if you're, when you do a lot of the stuff, are you starting to structure it like a LLC, as an S corp?
Yes, it is. It's an LLC.
Okay.
So it is an LLC now, just because and also the insurance, I had to, just in case. Yes. Yeah. So it is an LLC.
Just so people understand, like if they're going to go out to do this, some of the other hurdles that are not have to do with the renting part of it. There are some management and some business management. And like you said, I'm not an entrepreneur, but obviously if you establish your own LLC,
yes,
you are an entrepreneur. You're
well, thank you.
You're building your own business, right? It's a business. Really, essentially. It
just started for me as in something, it was more like a fight or flight for me.
Yeah.
So now that I'm at this point, I'm like, wow, I'm actually doing something really big, and it's interesting for for other people.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just shocking how it elevated and how fast it got. 3 years went by super fast.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm still grounding myself, like what's going on.
Are you going to stay here, or you're looking to grow the business?
I'm looking to grow, definitely. Right now, I'm comfortable with what I have, just because I do want to buy my own property, but out of El Paso, just because I have a plan, have a short-term and a long-term goal. So one of my long-term goals is to buy a condo and travel and put it on Airbnb and just be able to explore life. Really, now I don't only see it that it's something that is going to pay my bills. Now I see it's an opportunity for me to really live life, to have time for myself, for my family, for my son. And that's really one of the main reasons that I wanted to grow, so I can have that flexibility. So growing is something that I want to do, and I want to have different properties and places that I would like to travel, so I can go visit, have my place, and the rest of the time,
Absolutely,
it
I
could
think
be on
that's the
Airbnb.
dream for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to have that free time.
Right.
Is this what you do full time now?
Yes. Yes, I do full time. I did pass my MBCOT.
All right,
And
congratulations.
thank you. I did work for a year, but I did leave last year. I left my job to dedicate myself Airbnb.
And how has that been?
It's been great. It's been great. I love it. Like everything, it has its ups and downs, but just seeing the project itself, it just motivates me. I like it. It's going, I remember a lot when I was a little girl, I used to have a drawer, and I used to open my drawers, and I used to have a moñitos and, you know, just a bunch of stuff there. And I'm like, I used to just organize everything. And now I see it the same. It's different, but the same concept. I see a place.
The game of life.
Yes, I open it and I see a house. There's walls, and for me, it's like beauty in there. There's what can I do with this place? So,
how do you get inspiration for the designs of the home?
The inspiration, I look at a lot of magazines. I look at magazines. Netflix is also one of my,
Really?
I love looking at all like the real estate.
Like Pinterest.
Yes, Pinterest, a lot of the real estate, how they stage the homes. So I get a lot of my ideas from there. And also just when I go into the house, there's a vision. I can't wait to just make something happen and someone have that great experience. To be in that home.
When you get a home, what's the hardest part of it? Is it the cleaning, or is it the management and the upkeep?
It could be the upkeep.
You, what's the hardest part?
For me, it could be just being a handyman.
Yeah, really?
At times, yes, because at the beginning it was sometimes people are there, sometimes there's not. At the beginning, you don't have someone to pay to just call someone, yes, or just, you know, hey, can you do this? Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. And for me, it was hard because I had to take care of it at that moment. And I'm like, how do I do this? Who do I call? That was one of my biggest challenges for myself. Cleaning, I was able to go, I know how to clean. Talking to some of them, the profile, that was self-explanatory, and I was able to manage. But when it came to handyman, that was one of my biggest challenges. But I was able, I had support. There was people that were able to help me, and when they're not, I just
do it your own.
Do it my mind. Yes.
Well, how do you feel right now with everything that the city's trying to do with Airbnb, with the taxing and stuff like that? What's that thing all about?
So I mean, everyone wants a little share of everything. So I mean, it's like everything. I can't stress about it because let's say I can either keep myself going or because it's regardless, something's going to happen. If they want the taxes, the city wants.
Why do you think it's going on, or what?
Because it's so.
Is it hotels that are putting pressure on the city? You think to try to stop people from doing Airbnb, or you think it's just the city trying to collect some some
It
revenue
could be a
from
little
it?
bit of both.
Yeah.
I believe it could be a little bit of both. And I believe it's understandable. I don't see something that it's something horrible because let's say they do want their taxes. It will be included into the stay. So I don't see it such a big issue. And a lot of people are getting scared because of it. And for me, it's like, it's going to happen with Airbnb and it happens with every other business that starts growing. For me, it just seems that we're doing something good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
absolutely.
mean, if
to get people's attention, then you know
Right.
you're on the right track.
Right. So, I mean, there's meetings that are coming up for to get together and to advocate, and I will be present. So, I want to get more knowledge and also help other people that are starting to do their business with Airbnb, and I'm going to be attending to those meetings so that way I get more knowledge and I know what's going on with more. And again, it's just a learning process, and I mean, it's part of the growth. And for me, again, it's a good thing that little things here and there when they're happening, people or they're like, oh, we want either the hotels or the city wants part of their share as well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not something that I'm scared of. It's something that it's okay. What do we have to learn? We have to learn a little bit more so that way we also know either we put our prices a little higher because Airbnb, I believe
That's what's going to end up happening, right?
Yes, and I do believe that sometimes we're undervaluing what we provide as there's a home that there's $150 a night. If you go to a hotel, there's one little room, and I'm not undervaluing anything.
Yeah,
and
true.
But there's we pay a lot of taxes, home taxes, the rentals.
Yeah.
You know, and it just
Bills,
there's
everything.
So
Yeah.
That also
Cleaning
tells
supply.
me cleaning supplies, all of handymans.
Yeah, handyman stuff.
So for me, it's like, then that makes me, okay, then I can put my prices a little higher and then everything just balances out. And it's just something that I think that we just have to go through. And again, I'll be attending to those meetings. So
Are there a lot of houses right now on the market in El Paso?
yes, there's a
ton,
lot.
a ton.
Yes, a
Way
lot
more than there was in 2019?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So a lot of people are getting with the program.
Yes.
Does it make it more challenging for you?
It doesn't, because it has to do a lot with your profile. That's what I love about Airbnb. They look at your profile, they see if your respond rate. If you're a super host, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Becoming a super host is
What does that mean, Superhost?
Superhost is your profile will come up when you search, when someone goes and searches for a
Homes in
property.
El Paso?
Yes, your house will come up first if you're a superhost. To become a superhost, they have different requirements, criteria. So that way you could become a superhost, and it helps out a lot.
Can you pay your way to the top?
Can you pay?
Yeah, like can you pay for them to advertise your home to the top?
No, you have to really work for it. You have to, that's where it really, because you can't, you have to do it. It's all your ratings. That's who you,
Ratings are king.
yes, your
You
ratings.
gotta make sure you're doing a good job.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And do you see Airbnb like starting to change as well too, like the platform itself?
It does. Yes, definitely. It's been changing.
What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen like within the last 12 months or 6 months that you're like, oh, that's different?
A lot of new homes. There's a lot of new, before you would just see a lot of houses. Now there's a lot of different experiences. Airbnb is coming with a lot of different little tiny homes, different historical, just something unique. That's what I really like
Is
about.
that what it is all about? Like
yes.
That and themes of your home?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
I see like a lot of themes, like the Star Wars home
Right.
or whatever. Does it matter to create like a real catchy name for that
Yes,
house?
definitely. I mean, it is something that you want to make it different. I mean, that's the whole experience about Airbnb. You want to make it homey, or you want to make the experience different than just going out of town somewhere. That place is what makes you want to get an Airbnb. And you could go through the profile, and there's a lot of people that are coming out with their ideas. They're expanding with, you can get there, I think there's like a potato, there's one, a form of a potato, and there's different people that I love that because our imagination is so great, and how you're able to do something and use it, and not only for yourself but give that experience for other people. I think that's awesome.
What's the number one thing that you have seen keeps people happy? Like when they rent from you, what's one thing that you're like, we cannot do without that to keep people happy and get good ratings?
Cleanliness, for sure. Cleanliness and response. Just making you respond to them. Customer service. Making sure it smells good. A lot of our senses, smell. Just to make sure when you go in there and you smell that unique place, it just makes it.
It makes a big difference.
Yes, it
right?
does.
It makes it feel clean too.
Exactly.
What are other things that like are swimming pools? Like, because some people think, well, my house isn't really cool. I don't got a swimming pool. Can you still rent a house without a swimming pool?
Yes, of course. Yes. None of my properties have swimming pools. And a lot of people, swimming pools are good for summer, but it's not just the summer, it's throughout the whole year. And I mean, you can make it something that, for example, there's a home that I have, and I go into that house and I'm like, what experience do I want that person to have? And for me, it was like, okay, if I didn't have any children, it was just me, I made it into just something tiny, something pink, something very different. And you attract those type of people that they want to come stay. So it's just really personalizing it.
And how do you feel now that you've gone through this journey? Now it's like 3 years later. Do you look back and say, wow, how did I get to this point?
Yes.
And what do you think got you to this point?
What got me to this point was believing in myself. It did challenge a lot of my inner self, for sure. I had to really understand why I was doing it, and just really believing that I will get there. I do go back and I look now, I'm like, I'm actually doing it. There's times I can't believe it, but I have to believe it in order for me to keep going and for me to inspire others. I have to believe in myself. And that's one thing that I like about this journey, is that I have learned so much about myself that I don't think I would have done it any better with my career. I love my career. I love what I do. But definitely this experience has showed me a lot about myself, and also how I can transmit that to others. Not just, oh, it's just mine, I'm just growing, this is just for me. No, it's for everyone else, and anyone could do it. Again, it's just believing in yourself, having that. There's times that you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I really, when there's bad times with money, what motivates you? And that's where the challenge comes in. And I've learned so much about myself.
I think that's what people have to understand, is that there's always going to be ups and downs in every business, every organization.
Exactly.
You're going to have the goods and the bads. And you have to brace for, you have to make it through the hard times, and you have to enjoy the good times, right? But also plan that you're going to have some kind of downfall as well.
Right. Yes, definitely.
And what's your ultimate, like, what would be the ultimate outcome of what you're doing? What would be like, I would really love, like, for me to have 5 houses, they're my houses, travel and do that. What would be the ultimate outcome with this business?
The ultimate would be to have a property where you can have a lot of homes next to each other, so families can gather together. And my family, let's say I have family all over. There's some in San Antonio, some in El Paso. And for me, it would just be like to have a land so we can have a lot of properties on the side, even trailers, something that we can just go and spend that time together. That would be my ultimate goal, to have something different, to have jacuzzi, to have a gathering, a place that not only you can go stay, but you can have something as a family gathering, something in the middle that everyone could just gather together and have a great time, and then stay everyone in their
I've noticed
own
with
properties.
some Airbnbs, they cut you off of how many people you can have, right? But sometimes you're like traveling with families, so you might be like 3 or 4 families I think it makes sense for sure to think outside of the box in that sense, where you can rent them individually, but you can also rent as a group,
Right.
and maybe give them a group rate or something
Right.
like that. What do you think about like having a game room and stuff like that? Does that stuff help?
Yes, it does. It does help. Again, it all depends what you want to attract. If there's gaming, it does help, but at the same time, it's like then you start attracting parties. So you do want to avoid parties because Airbnb is really strict on that now.
Yeah.
They've had
And you guys get to install your own cameras and stuff like that, right? Outside
Yes.
of the property?
Yes, outside of
Just
the
to
property.
Keep an eye on it, make sure that there's nothing like that going on.
Correct. And you do have to let them know that there's cameras, like the doorbell camera, it is really important. Or even one in the back, but in the front door, that way you could see who's checking in, who's checking out. And just for the safety for everyone as well. Like
Yeah.
if something happens, and it is important to have at least the front door camera for sure.
Yeah, no, I've I've seen that. I've heard other friends that are like, I've got to go check on, I know Sebastian is always like, man, they just had a party. No way, I got to go. Like, but I think it's part of the whole experience, right? You got to
Right.
take the good, you got to take the bad. It's not always bad.
Right.
How many days on average will somebody expect to have their home rented if they go through Airbnb? They do a good job. They listen to your advice.
How many
days out of the month is like an average good? What would you say an average month is?
I want to say
It's like half the
maybe
month, is it?
more than half. I want to say 85%.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
for sure. 85%. There's also ways that you can learn how to have those other days that are not being booked. Again,
Yeah.
there's a lot of tweaks that you can move the date. So that way, let's say there's a week that it's not renting, and you can lower the prices, and then you see the market, what's around there,
Yeah.
and you can lower it a little bit lower. It tells you an estimate of how much the lowest house is going, and let's say it's for $80 a night, and you're like, okay, well then let me do 75, and then you get a booking. So it's just really getting into the platform.
If someone's looking to rent their home and they want to, they're like, I don't got the time to do this. Like, are you taking more people, or how can they contact you?
I am taking more people. I do have my business cards. That's also one of my goals. There's a team, so that way I'm not just doing everything. There's a place that for responding and for the cleaning crew, we can have that available. But if someone does want, they have their home, they're leaving out of town, and they don't want to sell their home, or they don't want to rent their house, I will guide them through it, so that way they can put their house on the platform, and I charge a percentage for the management, which is 20% for the cleaning and the platform. So there's people that have been contacting me and they're interested, but they don't have the time to either do the cleaning.
The biggest thing,
yes,
right?
the time or the
Yeah.
knowledge. And again, I will guide them through it, and I will give them the options, and it's their home, and everything will be deposit to their account, and then they just pay me after the ending of the month.
So
and
it's
that's
paid
how,
by month,
yes.
month summary of the total
Earnings.
earnings from that month.
Correct. Yes.
Cool. And so I'll put your information below on this video so people can
Awesome.
contact you and reach out. That's what we try to do with this platform, is to try to help people, to educate, to empower people. And I thank you for taking your time to come here, because I know we're all very busy and everybody's really busy trying to keep up with things. What are like with the cleaning business, now that you're doing like the cleaning business and you're doing the Airbnb, you're involved with other things. What is your day like? Are you like busy most of the time, or do you work like a regular job, like 8 to 10 hours, or?
This is my full time, and I am really busy, especially when I'm starting a new property.
Yeah.
When I'm starting a new property, I'm busy because I get my hands. It's hands-on, a lot of hands-on. But once I have the property settled, it's a lot of just phone calls, being on my phone. A lot of my time is on my phone, answering phone calls, answering questions. Sometimes I do have to go to the houses if there's an emergency, and I will show up. But for the most part, that's the ultimate goal. So I'm not too busy and I have that free time to spend time with my son.
Yeah.
I have my little one, he is 9 years old. And again, that's one of the main reasons why I kept doing this, because I know I have the flexibility to do my own schedule.
Absolutely.
It can,
I think that's a lot of us parents
yes,
aim to do that. I think, that's what inspired me to create this as well, too, to have the freedom
right,
to be able to do. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I still work a ton of hours, but
right.
I can pick and choose those hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. And
Yeah.
so, but again, with the therapy, which I love, but I
Do
would
you see yourself going back to the therapy one day, or are you like, I don't know, this is going really good, so.
I might go, I'm not sure. But I love what I'm doing again, and I just dedicated myself 120% to Airbnb, just because it's been rewarding, but also again the time I see that I have that time with my son. So with that being said, if everything looks good as it is, I'm going to stay doing what I'm doing, and the therapy, I will have to hold it for,
Really?
yes.
It'll be a backup.
Yes.
But that's good. I think having a good solid backup is always important.
Right.
But you have the freedom now, and now it's runway, and you have opportunities. And, I do see you growing to that point. You've been on that, in 3 years to grow from 2 to 5 to 7, it's a big jump. So congratulations
Thank
on
you so
that.
much.
I know
Thank you.
it's really hard, and especially I want the platform too to be a platform to empower, to educate other females in El Paso,
Right.
because a lot of what we are here is to show females like, no, you stay at home, you got to take care of the kids.
Right.
But I think it's also an opportunity for you guys, maybe during that time, to start plotting out other things. And I think things like Airbnb are great. It's a great way to make disposable income on the side.
Right.
And possibly get a couple of investments, because I don't know how deep you've gotten into the tax side of things.
Okay.
But through properties is a great way to leverage depreciation, and for you to write off a lot of stuff to offset a lot of your profits, so that way your tax liability won't be so high.
Correct.
So I really like that, and I myself, and I've been talking to Sebastian about it a lot, because I'm interested in it. I'm genuinely interested. I know we've been trying to get you to come to talk on the show for some time, because we're genuinely interested. I know Sebastian's
Awesome.
passionate about it. I know these guys had a bunch of questions before this episode, and so it shows that there's a trend there, and people are starting to want to think outside of the box. And I think Airbnb provides a great opportunity.
It does,
Because there
definitely.
are people that have homes, they don't got the time, they're working, they don't got time, they don't want to keep up with the cleaning or managing, or
Right.
running out to the house to find out if somebody's throwing a party or stuff. That's where you come in
Right.
and play, and you do it well. You have a team, you execute, it's efficient, you have a proven record, and I think that can help a lot of people and conserve. So do you have a business name yet, or is it you're just going by your name?
It's Am I Traveling? Am I Traveling?
Okay, cool.
And it's spelled EMAII. EMAII Traveling.
Am I traveling?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's down like, and then it means I am. Am I traveling?
Yeah.
Am I means I am.
Yeah.
So that means I am traveling.
Yep.
It has its.
Yeah. Is traveling important to you? Because it sounds like
Yes,
that's
it
one
is.
of your passions.
Yes.
You want to explore. You want to be able to see the world. And
Yes,
stuff.
definitely. I traveled
And every time you travel, do you stay in an Airbnb?
No, I don't. Depending. But I do stay out of. I love my hotels. I love my hotels.
So you're not 100% against hotels.
No, not at all.
You just
Want to provide an alternative to some people because
Exactly.
it makes more sense.
Yes, and also again for me it was just very. It was a moment of I didn't know what to do with my house, and there's a lot of people.
Yeah, sometimes from hardship comes blessing.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And a lot of people see sometimes those times as hard times in your life, and you can look at it very negative, but if you turn it into a positive,
Exactly.
it's all that much more beautiful.
And
right?
it's so rewarding
Yeah.
when you can help someone to make that decision, to give them that little push, to make something great, and it helps them. You know, you mentioned earlier, you're my Latinas. You know, I love pushing, working with them. I'm a female, and it can be a little difficult with other things. And for me, with this Airbnb, it's expanded a lot of my vision of what we can really do,
Yeah.
what we can provide, and we have great abilities, and we
Yeah.
can.
I always say, you know, females have better eyes when it comes to design and stuff like that. It's true, you know, if you go, I mean, you guys are always better at like staging your living rooms and staging your house. This is somewhere you can use those talents, you know, because I think it's sometimes it can be challenging. If you go into a man's house, you're gonna say like, oh man,
A little TV and
who organized this? You know, it looks like a bachelor pad, right?
and you'll be surprised that, when there's men that are into designing.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how much talent they have as well. Like they,
Yeah. Is it something now that you're starting to become more and more passionate about?
Yes,
'Cause I think it's a
definitely.
big part of
yes,
getting them rented, right?
yes.
You
the
want
design-
people to be like, wow, when they walk in the door, right?
Right. Yes, that design. I love that part. When it comes to the designing part, that's my favorite. It's one of my ultimate favorite. Just getting in there and just reflecting, what message do I want to give?
Yeah.
And you see it when you get those ratings. It just makes you so happy, and it just puts a smile on your face, and that's my payday.
Yeah, absolutely. No, congratulations on all your
Thank you.
success on it. I'm really impressed and what you have accomplished, and it's very interesting. Like it's interesting to me how that world works and stuff. I definitely would be happy to bring you back on the show, maybe 2 years from now,
Of
to see
course,
like your
yes.
progress, because I want to show people like, you know, like it's a marathon, right?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
you're not going to get from zero to making $1 million and
Right.
you retire
Exactly.
and you're
Right.
all good and you don't have to get up to go to work anymore.
Right.
Right.
It's-
It's still a lot of hard work, and
It
3
is.
years later, you're still really hitting
Pushing.
it hard and pushing it really
Yes, you
hard.
have to. You have to keep pushing. You have every single day. Sometimes you have no days off. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
you have no days off, and that's it comes with it, and you have to be willing.
Is it a
to,
weekend thing a lot, that where you have to be addressing these homes, because most people check in Monday and they leave Saturday, or they check in Thursday and not get out Saturdays?
It's
Or
there's
is
a
it just all
it's
the week?
all the week. You do have a lot of checkouts on Sundays. You do have a lot of checkouts Sundays, but you do throughout the week. There's Monday, Tuesday. You have, of course, weekends. They're always, your weekends
Yeah.
are always going to be full. But during the week, again, there's Mondays. Mondays are usually, a lot of people check in Mondays,
Yeah.
or they check out Thursdays. But yeah, I mean, it just,
Does the payout happen up front, or does it happen after the fact?
it happens after they check in. So once they
Check in, the funds are secured.
Yes, once they check
Okay.
in, and then they'll just make sure everything was smooth with their arrival, and then they'll start processing the deposit. So it's a nice feeling when you
Yeah, absolutely, right? When it hits, and then when you get 5 and you're at 7 and 20, you can see this multiplying very quick, where you can build something. But again, as you explained, it's work, it's a grind, it's a hustle.
Yes, it is, for sure.
And building your cleaning team, how challenging is that? Because is that going to be a separate entity, or you're treating it as one entity? Is that a management company and this is a different company, or how are you treating that?
So it's separate, just because. So for me, I saw it this way: a hotel, they have their cleaning crews.
Yeah.
And for Airbnb, there's not a cleaning crew that you could call for Airbnb. So for me, I'm like, there has to be something.
Yeah. How many cleaning crews are here in El Paso that you know of that do Airbnb cleaning?
I haven't found one.
Really?
Yes,
That's a great niche.
I haven't found
That's a
one. So
great
that's
niche.
why for me, it's like, okay, what can I do to help other people with Airbnb
Yeah.
have a strong team that knows what Airbnb requirements, because every house is different. However, there has to be a cycle that you can't just call someone. You can, But if you want that star, that 4-star,
Yeah.
it is important to have your cleaning crew,
Consistency,
yes,
yeah.
and to provide that for others. So for me, it was important to establish that cleaning crew very, very
Even in
strong.
larger cities, like I see if you search on Google, you'll find cleaning crews, but like for houses and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But here in El Paso, there's not a lot of really good resources. and
Right.
stuff. When I've looked, I haven't found really good resources and stuff. So I think there's a niche there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think you're onto something with that as well too. with
Yes.
the cleaning crew.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm in that process. A lot of times there's like personalizing things also with the cleaning crew. I would like to provide people that
Yeah.
they have their towels, they want their towels personalized, and
Really?
yes, so having that available for them so they're not just looking everywhere, where do I get towels? And personalizing, for example, either with their home or there's a lot of towels, because for me, I use so many towels
Yeah.
all the time, and they get dirty, they get damaged, and a lot of the times why they get dirty is because they use the makeup to
Yeah.
to remove it. So now there's black ones and there's specified makeup.
towel.
Yes,
Yeah.
that just like something you would have at a hotel.
Yeah.
But now my cleaning crew provides
Yeah,
that.
you have to. And if you look at like a hotel, if you mimic your business, a lot
Right.
of what they've set a roadmap as far as like they have a lot of products that are complementary products.
Right.
And that's where I think like in business, we're always looking for complementary products that can be fit into the overall process.
Correct.
Because then you start generating different revenue streams like that.
Right, correct.
I think it's important to do that and always to be looking out like, hey, well, we can add the towel service, we can add
Yes,
this service,
definitely.
we can add that service. And most people will like it, you know, and like some people like you, like when I go to a hotel, my biggest thing is like, I want clean sheets, but not only that, like I want to have sheets, or I sometimes take my own pillows just because of like I have sensitive skin and stuff like that, so I
Right.
want to have those amenities.
Right,
available to me.
correct. And
So,
those are the important things that sometimes we don't really think about when we're first
Yeah.
starting, but they're really important.
Yeah,
And
you
they
start
will
digging
make a huge impact in your ratings, and that's when you start getting all your bookings, because you stay being a super host, and
Yeah.
and that's
how many
the
super hosts are there here in El Paso? Do you know?
probably hundreds.
Really?
Yes, more than is just hundreds. But let's say they're your super host and they get booked and they don't come up on the platform anymore. So it gives the other person that availability, because then it's just a
Yeah.
lot of people are renting. There's a lot of people that are staying on Airbnbs now.
Yeah.
So it also gives you, it's not like, oh, there's a lot of people now putting their house, what are we going to do? And it all depends like on the people that they're searching for, the guest for them to stay. So
How many of those are long term that stay? Like I know long term is like a home run for you guys, right? Because it's
yes.
like, I don't gotta be
Yes.
clean. Yeah, right. What percentage of renters come in as long term?
I want
Is
to
it like
s-
10? Is it like 15%? 20?
maybe 20%.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
maybe 20 throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't have a lot, but once you get them, oh my God, it feels
great.
like, yes, it feels, yes.
Are those people like traveling for business?
Yes, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of construction, a lot of construction I've had.
Hot spots that you would recommend around town that you feel like this side of town is doing really, really good? And do you first of all, do you have your home spread out, or is it more condensed into one?
They're spread out. There's
Okay.
northeast, there's central, east, west side, and yes, so it's northeast, central, and west. I also had a studio on the east side, so honestly, it's just all over El Paso.
Really?
Like, yes, there's one house specifically that's been great to me. That one's in the northeast. A lot of people get surprised. They're like, "Oh, the northeast!" You know, it's.
Why do you think that one is doing really well?
I just think just the rooms. It has 4 bedrooms, and
Okay.
it has a lot of area that people workspace area. So if you have a lot of workspace area, like long table that people can put their laptops, a lot of people look for that. And you want to attract those long stays, so you would like to have that space for them so they could come and work. So I believe that's why that house is so successful, because it stays so busy. It has two kitchen areas. So there's one just to eat, and there's the other one for a lot of people use it for workspace.
That's awesome. Really interesting stuff. I think I can ask you questions all day. If you see where I'm getting, I'm trying to rent my own home.
Yes, no, of course. I mean, yes,
You know,
of course.
but I think that's what I wanted to do for people viewing this. I think a lot of people have those little questions. And like I said, I think maybe running it back to like a year from now to see her progress and stuff would be really cool to see, you know, what has changed and stuff like that.
Right.
Because it's always obviously, but the fact that you were doing good like during COVID is really surprising.
Yes, yes.
Because I'm like, I would think it'd be the opposite. But
Right.
but I think because people were trying to not go where there's a ton of people. Right?
Yes.
That's probably what happened, right?
There was a lot of protocols too that Airbnb had for cleaning. A lot of people wanted to be just in a home. They didn't want to be in a hotel. So that helped a lot too. There was a lot of making sure, Airbnb made sure they educated us with the cleaning process of it. Cool. So it was really, they really emphasized on that. They focused on that a lot, and they made sure that it was out there. So I believe people felt comfortable with that. And again, I thought it was, I had just, not just started, but there were some properties that had just started, and everyone was freaking out for me. And I'm like, I have to stay positive, because if I don't stay positive, yes, I had to.
Yeah.
And in that moment, and of course you get those chills, you're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And, but again, you have to just
stick with it.
Just stick with it and just keep going.
That's the biggest takeaway. What other advice can you give to somebody looking to get into this space? You know, other Latinas, other people here in El Paso, what would you say? What would be your biggest advice?
To my Latinas,
Straight.
to my Latinas, to really try it. Like sometimes there's thoughts that come into our head, and just making an action, starting something very small, even with consistency within yourself, just something very little. Let's say you want to start an Airbnb, you don't know how, just even talking about it, going out there, believing in yourself, even whatever it is. And with Airbnb, it can help them really expand and who they are within themselves. And I always tell the girl, not just Airbnb, with the cleaning, I always give everyone, we're all here, we're all equal. Not because you're cleaning, not because you're the one that's doing the fixing, putting a hole in the wall. Just give yourself that value and really keep going. And I always tell the girls, like, just, we're all a team, we're all emotional, we're very hormonal. And I'm like, just gather yourself, just believe in yourself. This is about you. This is about really just having a voice. And sometimes the less we speak and the more we just do with our hands, and we get together and I love working with women, just because sometimes we get, we don't give ourselves that value that we deserve. Gather yourself with people that are positive. Surround yourself by women that are going to help you and not push you down, not gossip about one another. Just really understand the bigger picture and really believe that there's more out there than just chismes. And, you know, and I mean, social media is great, but just use it for your advantage. Really know how to, okay, well, this is what I like to do, and just believing and keep growing from there. And again, surrounding yourself by good people, and that's just really one of my things that has helped me, surrounding myself by humble people, and just great. They have helped me grow and get where I'm at, and I just keep pushing.
That's great advice. I think people need to hear it more, because too much of the time we're focused on that person's doing this and I'm not doing that, rather than let's work together, let's help each other, and then we'll learn something from it, and then maybe we can do our own thing, or, you know, maybe we can help that person come up, and we're going to come up too.
Because there's times that I'm down, and there's times that, and I gave advice to one of my friends, and then she gave it back to me, and I'm like, thank you. You know, I really appreciate that. It comes back. It really comes back, and it helps you grow and really understand that there's more out there. There's more out there, and I have a talent, but so do you. And
Yeah.
we can help each other grow. This is nothing like, oh, this is mine. I only know how to do it. And I'm not going to tell anyone. No, like this is something for everyone and we could grow from it and we become stronger
Yeah.
and boom,
I
it
always
just
tell
happens.
people, man, we have the numbers, you know, the Latino, Mexicanos
Yes,
here.
Mexicanos and
we have a lot of numbers, and one of our biggest problems is we don't work together. But if
Right.
we work together,
Yes.
there's enough for everybody.
There
There's
is.
a lot of opportunity, and we can bring more opportunity to the city for us to come up, you know. And so I'm a big proponent of that. And I'm always
Yes.
pushing that positivity. I'm trying to empower other people.
yes,
That's the reason we do this platform, you know, because we want to provide a stage where people can do it, and we put our own marketing dollars. We pay our own guys here to be here to feature people from our city doing amazing things. So
right.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you showing up. You know, till next time that we talk, I'd really love to dig in a lot more on the business side and stuff like that. And I think this is a great starter introduction for people to just look at this, to educate themselves on what it's like. If you're on the fence about things, I think this gives you the opportunity to take that extra step and to have that confidence. As Janette said, she was on the brink of going, possibly even losing your house, right? At the time, you had
Yes.
to make a quick decision. And she jumped and had faith, and little by little, with those hard times, she built herself and
Right.
was able to get out of that position with hard work and with persistence and with believing, because you got to stay positive.
Yes,
So-
for sure.
So thank you for coming. I would have loved to even dig into some of the other business stuff that you're in, but I think we've talked for about an hour already. So we're gonna wrap up this episode, but I definitely would love to have you back on. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, of
for
course. Thank you
coming.
for having me here.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
You did really well, and I think I learned as well as everybody else in this situation. So I thank you for sharing. your
No, thank you
knowledge,
for
right?
having me here. I really appreciate it. This is a great opportunity for me. So thank you again, and everyone thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Sebastian.
and believing in someone,
Yeah.
you know, like just this is all part of the greatness. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah,
having
you're
me
welcome.
here.
So we're going to wrap up. If you guys want to check out Janette, we're going to put her information down on the in the comments, so that, or in the description area, so you guys can hit her up if you're looking for somebody to manage your home. She's done a great job. She obviously knows what she's doing. The fact that she has a cleaning team and stuff like that. If you don't want to do any of that, reach out to her on that. So with that note, I leave you guys. I hope this episode was helpful for you guys. Until next time, we'll see you guys again, all right?